Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever this finds you. Please welcome to the 55th Emerging Growth Conference. I'm your host, Anna Berry. Just a few notes today. We're going to be running until about 3:30 Eastern Time. And during each company's presentation, you can submit questions through the webcast module, and we will attempt to address as many of these as possible at the end of the presentation. Now, when we switch to the next company, you're going to see a black screen for just a moment, but don't go anywhere. That's just us moving over. If you do experience downtime for more than a minute or two, refresh your browser. And our platform does work best on Google Chrome. So if you're watching from an Apple device, you have to hit the play button to start the session. And remember, all of our conferences, they're uploaded to our Emerging Growth Conference YouTube channel. So you can always catch past conferences there. And please subscribe, youtube.com/Emerging Growth Conference. One last note. After today's event at 3:30, you will be redirected to the registration page for our next conference in 2 weeks. So stay on or come back to reserve your spot early. Now, let us begin. First to present is Ms. Ping Wei, CFO of Tarena International. Tarena is listed on the NASDAQ under the symbol TEDU, and the company is a leading IT training company in China with 20 years of operation history. And Ms. Ping Wei joined the company in 2022 and has extensive finance and capital market experience. Welcome to the Emerging Growth Conference today, Ms. Wei. Glad to have you.
Thank you, Anna, and thanks everybody for coming to our presentation. I'll go straight away to the company presentation. Just 1 second while I get my slides to work. Okay, the safe harbor statement. I'll just go quickly to next slide. Okay, who we are. Tarena is the leading IT training company based in China. We actually offer two main streams of services. One is an professional IT training for young adults to help them become an IT professional. And second is IT-focused supplementary STEAM education. That is basically after-school interest-based learning for children aging 3 to 15 years old. And we're number one as China's IT professional education company. We're the first professional education company listed in the US. And 2022 fiscal year, which is also calendar year, we generated close to 2.5 billion of RMB of revenue. And the company has also generated RMB 102 million non-GAAP net income in 2002. We have 303 learning centers in China located in 57 cities, clearly with a nationwide footprint. Last year alone, we trained over 275,000 students, of which over 200,000 are children and 66,000 adults. Now, that's sort of our scale. A bit more detail on the trainings we provide. We basically provide, with the children's IT supplementary STEAM education, we actually provide courses with two tracks. One is we call hardware coding or robotics program. Starting kids at year 3, we put them in groups to play Lego blocks, but linked to a sort of a controller that actually can move with simple software coding. And we work with the kids to build blocks. We teach children how to generate simple and basic programming on computer. And then when they run the program, the Lego blocks become moving parts or moving objects. That gets children really interested in, this kind of robotics programming. As they grow, we actually get them to more complicated or sophisticated programming and coding. By the time they're teenagers, we encourage them to participate in all kinds of robotics competitions. This week, our children are in the US participating in VEX World Competition as we speak, actually. So that's our robotics training program. And then we also have general software coding just programming programs for children 5 years to 15 years old. And we start them with very basic, like graphic-based coding program like Scratch, and gradually moving them to Python and even C++ kind of programming. Children actually loves it because it's not just boring sort of programming, coding, learning, similar to the robotics track. It's helping kids programming and having fun. So that's children's program. Typically, a child attends our program for an hour and a half to 3 hours long every week after school or during weekend. And during summer and winter camps, they do boot camps, they do sort of lengthy camps as well. So that's children. Now, for adults, the value proposition is very simple. We put them in our program so they learn a particular programming language or a particular sort of IT engineering subject and gain expertise and experience, virtual experience. Then we help them find jobs. So value proposition as job placement. In terms of program, we typically run full-time program 4 to 6 months long and part-time program 6 to 9 months long. By the end of the program, we help them, we offer or we host job fairs. We connect them with potential employers. We sort of guide them through the interview test process to get placed. So that's for adult. Now, so our company's vision is to empower IT careers and foster growth with high quality courses and services. Now, why we believe we have value for our investors. Okay, that's investment highlights. First of all, China's vast market opportunity, and we have the leading industry positioning us well to capture those opportunities. The core value we have is our high quality course, results driven systems. And at the heart of that high quality course and results driven sort of mentality is our innovation and enhancement sort of centered company culture. Now, company enjoys healthy financial performance run by a management team. That's sort of why we have a unique investment value. Now, China's market, basically, we operate in less policy sensitive areas of professional training. In fact, our students pay the tuition fee themselves. So it's a 2C model in general. And first of all, secondly, economy is good or bad. Children, like young adults, need to find jobs. And also, particularly in China, parents sort of pay a lot of attention to their children's education. They want to make sure their children are best groomed possible while they grow up. As the Chinese parents has a relatively competitive mindset for their children's education, they believe that they need to groom them early on from the very beginning so they don't lose out later in life. And both bode well for our sort of market. The IT professional education market is estimated to be at about 100 billion currently, and the children's STEAM education with IT focus is estimated to reach a total market size of anywhere between 50 billion to 100 billion RMB by 2025. Additionally, I want to mention one more thing, that is, with children's side, the IT supplementary STEAM education is not an area that's sort of affected or sort of within the government's double reduction policy. So that's go back to what I mentioned. Tarena's market, one is a less policy sensitive market. Two is currently it's not only not a restricted market from government's perspective, it's also encouraged in that one is the with the shift in demographics in China, we are starting to have smaller number or a shrinking number of sort of work age adults. And that basically says we will need to automate more work that was handled manually. So that bodes well for company to having to invest more in IT to be more automatic and more system run rather than people run. And secondly, the country has an aspiration of becoming a tech-strong country rather than just the world manufacturing center, as you probably see from the media here and there. And with that, in fact, the Chinese leader mentioned earlier this year that while we want to reduce burden on children for the curriculum areas that's already taught in school, we actually want children to have more learning in IT so they get more savvy early on. So that's all in science and IT. So that's actually very encouraging for us. Now, so that's the market. You can see our footprint. We are in most of the advanced or more economically advanced cities and provinces in China, in East and South coastal cities and provinces. With an with STEAM training, we have 217 centers in 53 cities. And for professional training, we have 86 centers in 42 cities. Okay, now, value proposition for our STEAM education, we want to foster children's interest and inspire them, and also at the same time, help them develop expertise and capabilities in IT. Are we good or, sorry, do you guys still see me? Anna, is there any problem? I just see a black screen.
Yeah, you're fine. What do you see on the screen?
Excellent. Sorry. And then for IT professional training, the value proposition is very simple, helping them finding jobs. Okay, so moving on to next one. The results. Okay, results is actually very obvious. With our children's STEAM education, IT-focused STEAM, our over 75,000 of our kids participated in various kinds of competitions. And 4,500 of them over the years qualified for international competition. By the way, we started our IT STEAM education in 2015 while we started our adult IT professional training in 2003. So over 7 years time alone, this is the kind of achievement. Additionally, we also qualified 3,600 of our kids also qualified for national competition. And in the end, over 12,000 of our students got some kind of second prize or better awards in 2022 alone. And 2022, we in total trained over 200,000 kids. Now, our IT professional education, the employment rate of our adult students 6 months after they graduate from our programs is 92%. Okay, and they in general having a payroll starting salary about 1.23 times of an average college graduate. Now, as well, how we are able to sort of deliver quality course with results. You know, that the core at the heart of it is our innovation and continuous improvement kind of mindset and company culture. Okay, so we have experienced teaching and research team and industry leading curriculum development system and also the innovation sort of design, innovative conceptual design. Now, with our IT-focused supplementary STEAM education, we put together pedagogy experts, sort of developmental scientists or psychologists, and IT professionals. We put all three expert teams together to develop our courses to make sure our courses are age appropriate and inspiring and stimulating. And also, we actually develop and update our courses for children and for adult like every 6 to a year's time to make sure we stay up to date with our sort of technology. Okay, sorry. Hold on, guys. Okay. Now, management team. I joined the company in 2022, but I've been, since I went back to China end of 2004, I spent most of my time with education companies, first with New Oriental Education, and then with a few professional and preschool education providers, or for-profit providers. So I have extensive experience with the education industry. Our CEO, Ms. Sun Ying, is actually one of the co-founders of the company, and she has been managing the company since 2020. Now, growth strategies. We actually shoot for a balanced growth strategy. First and foremost, continue to provide value. To continue to provide value and results to our students, we're focusing on enhancing our course content, delivery, and service qualities. And secondly, intuitively as well, the way to grow revenue and profit in general is to increase market penetration. With our adults, we look to continue to generate a profitable sort of operation, not necessarily focusing on expansion or growth, but on healthy and balanced and sustainable growth for the company. For children, we will be more aggressive as the market is huge, and we can definitely tap into the vast potential of the market. And furthermore, one important thing about the future of the company is basically a sustainable growth for the company. And as such, one of the main growth strategies for the company is to further improve financial health. Now, I mentioned already how we sort of look at updating and upgrading our content and service. We believe you just have to have that. An education company, the core value of an education company is always in the content, the quality of the content, quality of the course, and the quality measured by results. So we constantly upgrade our course and delivery system. We follow the theory application learning practice mechanism for adults. And we always, we also sort of bring in more high quality education resources globally to ensure we develop the best inline courses. Additionally, because we are sort of tech or tech ed company, we continue to reinforce our online merge or offline kind of learning model. That way, we ensure our students get uninterrupted services all the time, and we utilize the best teaching resources efficiently. Efficiently, I mean, because we use real-time online delivery plus supported learning in classroom kind of OMO model. Our sort of scalability on a teacher is virtually unlimited. So that way we ensure we have quality results, but we also ensure we run a sort of financially efficient model. Now that's on the content side. And then in terms of increasing market penetration, right now, virtually none of our children's center or adult center has reached its full capacity. So we can still continue to increase enrollment in the existing centers. And secondly, with our children's centers, we also look to add more centers in existing cities. And also, now that the pandemic is not officially over, but the pandemic-related control or the restrictions on mobility kind of policy is fully removed, the country is fully back to normal. It's time for us to look at expanding into new cities as well. So that's sort of the expansion plan for our children's and adult side. I mentioned earlier, with adults, we don't aim to aggressively increase enrollment. One reason is while the country is recovering from the pandemic-related control policies, we are seeing that the job market recovery is still lagging a little bit. At this time, it is more prudent to take a wait-and-see kind of approach, focusing on delivering quality and results for our existing students at the existing centers, and for students who have access to our existing centers, and focus on financial health of the operation rather than looking at expansion. Another point that's worth making is on the pricing strategy. We are not looking at increasing prices in near future, as we want to make sure it's a stable and sort of predictable kind of pricing range for our market. Now, health, we started in 2020. We started to look at our strategies more critically, as we were losing money in 2019 and 2018, I believe, as well. Reason being, you basically can't count on using investors' money or students' tuition money to continue to pay for growth. So since 2020, we have adopted a very important financial strategy that is to develop healthy and sustainable growth, which is profitable growth. You can see from this chart, since 1Q of 2020, our centers actually decreased by about 43, but our student enrollments on quarterly basis almost doubled. That's how we sort of look at the financial efficiency. We want to fill the existing centers rather than continue to expand number of centers to gain growth. And the strategy worked well. And that also, we also looked at improving operational efficiency. That way we actually got, you can see in 2020, we lost almost 1 billion RMB. By 2022, we made about 100 million in non-GAAP income, okay? Now, that brings me naturally to our financial highlights. I actually already mentioned our financial strategy, enhancing learning centers' operational efficiency, optimizing student acquisition methods. So we have a lower lead generation and conversion cost, and also optimizing management process and implement effective and efficient expenditure controls. The result is actually pretty obvious. We grow revenue continuously, except for a few quarters in the past 2 years. And our margin expanded, gross margin expanded overall from 44% to 57%. And then you can see this is the sales and marketing in absolute dollar amount by quarter and as percentage to revenue. It went down in percentage of revenue from 81% in 1Q 2020 to 26% in 4Q of 2022, and almost halved in absolute dollar value with quarterly numbers. This is G&A. G&A, we have a relatively stable and flat recurring cost while we grow our revenue. So, and this is the profitability. For the last 4 quarters, we have been profitable. And this is cash flow. Fiscal 2022, we went through worst COVID controls for part of the year. Even that, in cash flow wise, operating cash flow wise, you can see we have done reasonably well. And that actually concludes my presentation. I'll leave a few minutes for questions. Anna.
Yes, great job. Yeah, sorry, I had to find my tab. Wonderful presentation. We do have tons of questions for you. Let's see how much time we have to get this in. Okay, Gil Ingram wants to know about the competition in China. Talk a little bit about it, as well as are you only in China, and talk about your growth into other regions.
Right. Yes, we are only in China, and we have very small operations out of China in Taiwan and actually in Canada, but they're very small. We want to stay in China. In terms of competition, when there's no competition in the market, I think people will start to wonder whether there is truly a market. So competition is normal and healthy. That actually keeps the company on its toes. So we do have competitors both in adults and in children. I'll start with children. With children, with over 200 direct-owned learning centers, we probably have the largest on-the-ground, direct-owned sort of infrastructure in China, and also the largest number of on-the-ground students. There are a few fairly sizable online players, but they have totally different model. In fact, the largest online IT STEAM training company actually generates over 1 million of students a year, or service over 1 million. That actually tells you how big is the market. And because what we offer as OMO model, primarily with children learning in our centers, and our price point is about 10 times that of online model. So we almost virtual online model as a sort of a lead generator per se. So that is the children's side. On adult side, we do have competitions, but we have 20 years of history. Our students achieve very healthy results, and we have good reputation out there. So we're actually very confident that we do have competitive edge in the country.
Wonderful. Perfect. And are you planning on growing to any other regions?
Near-term plan is focused in China. We almost view that as sort of low-hanging fruits.
Understandable. Harry Walton says Chegg Inc. yesterday came out with less than expected sales revenue and blamed it on AI. So can you talk about, if you're using AI, and even if you're not, how it can help or hinder your business going forward?
That's a very good question. In fact, with the ChatGPT this year, there's a huge sort of enthusiasm in China about AI-empowered everything. We actually believe it's good news for IT training. If we look back in the peak time of IT training, it actually coincide with sort of technological sort of advancement or breakthroughs. For example, around year 2000 is the first wave of IT training, or sort of the a riding wave, a good time for IT training. Why? Because of the tech boom at that time. And then the second wave in China is clearly around 2013 to 2015. That's the mobile expansion. Now, this time around, it's the AI. Every time there's technological advancement or breakthrough, the market demand for people who savvy with the new technology like spikes. And the supply, there will always be supply shortage. And then the training companies coming to try to bridge the gap. So for Tarena, we noticed the market's demand for AI and AI savvy sort of engineers. We sort of partnered with Baidu, Bernie, Baidu's sort of 文心一言, Baidu's AI program. We are one of their strategic partners, first batch, in their sort of development, like sort of coalition, sort of development coalition program. And we are also developing in-house AI-powered sort of training courses to ensure our new graduates will have the expertise that the market needs for AI advancement.
Thank you for that answer. Louise Briggs wants to know, how do you make money and how is any revenue recurring? Is your model subscription based?
That's a very good question. Again, I mentioned word of mouth referral. In fact, with our children, we almost, for 2022, almost 3/4 of our paying enrollments came either through word of mouth referral or repeat student payments. Our 1-year student renewal rate is, for last year, was 86%. So we have a very sticky model with our children's program. When they start with us, they stay with us. With adults model, it's slightly different in that once young adults complete their program with us and find jobs, they typically don't come back. But word of mouth is important. From what I heard from the field, almost half of our students came to explore our programs through word of mouth referral by their friends. We don't have a lot of repeat students because they don't need to repeat. So that's sort of the our model. So how do we make money? We're center-based model. It's 2C model. Children pay us about $20 per hour, and parents typically buy blocks of hours, like 50, 100, whatever, ahead of time. So that's how we collect. Then they consume the hours on a weekly basis. For adults, it's program-based. So for a program, full-time learning, 4 to 6 months long, we typically charge them about around $3,000. So that's the pricing point. Profitability at center level, we usually ask the centers to achieve 20% or better center margin. And then we have about 5% divisional overhead and 5% head office overhead. So right now, we shoot for 10% net margin as in general. That's sort of our model. Some of our adult centers margin is as high as 40, 50% center operating margin. But children's model is more like 20 to 30%. So it's smaller centers, smaller classrooms, therefore lower center margin, but still healthy. Hope that answers the question.
I think it does. Quickly, due to time, we've got a lot of more questions for you. Van wants to know more about your job placement. How does it work? And do you receive a commission once they're placed?
In general, we don't work on commissions, but basically a job placement starts as soon as the student started with our program. So when they start a training program, they are assigned a job advisor, or employment advisor. The employment advisor will work with them along the way. One is to make sure they learn their contents properly so they are ready for workplace. 2 is to groom them on sort of resume writing, sort of job searching, and also like test taking and interview skills. And thirdly, we work with potential employers and recommend students to them through direct links we have with the employer or through job fairs. So we work with our students, make sure they're ready. We bring in potential employers and we brief them. So that's how we help our students find jobs.
Perfect. And last question for you from Steve. Steve wants you to clarify how you incorporate this into regular school. Is this in lieu of regular school or in addition to regular school?
With IT supplementary training, it's in addition to regular school. Children do it after school or weekend. With IT adults, we used to have an adults both school program, which is we work with college, build our courses into degree learning, and to see which is students actually are not just studying in school. They probably have finished school or they don't have classes. So they come to us, learn full-time at our centers for 4 to 6 months in a row.
Wonderful. Well, would you like to give some closing remarks, Ms. Wei?
Thank you, Anna. In summary, I think we are a trustworthy provider of high-quality IT-related courses and services in China. We are a front runner, and we have healthy financial performance. But unfortunately, right now, we don't feel like our market cap reflects the true value of the company. So that actually is an additional value as an investment opportunity for our potential shareholders. That is my conclusion. Thank you.
Wonderful. Great presentation. And thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to you coming back and giving us some updates.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Wei. And everyone stay with us. We'll be right back with our next presenter.